Why so serious?
Okay, I was gonna start. I don't know if I can off that.
Throw the slack, you fucking moron!
Didn't mean to scare you, but we're doing another episode of the podcast.
Where does that go?
What do you mean?
What?
At the beginning of the podcast.
The intro's supposed to be a ramp into a greater conversation, and you just squealed and then said, "Oh no, we're starting."
Yeah, well, I was letting everyone know the podcast is starting, and then I apologize for doing it a bit in a scary way. Didn't mean to be a scary guy. Welcome to the podcast, everybody. This is ScreenShare, a movie podcast about being a punk rocker. Yes, I am.
Okay, so we did watch the same movie this week.
Yeah, can I be honest, though? I went to a streaming site of a name that we'll never know to watch this movie, and first it played a Spanish dub of this film.
Love it.
So I tried a different source, and it played, I think, like one of the old Christopher Reeve ones.
Okay.
Did
it
I was
look
like, shit,
old?
this movie's 3 hours long, and then it was like, oh, it's the wrong movie.
There's a 3-hour-long Christopher Reeve one?
Apparently. I don't know if it's a Christopher Reeve one, but I just skipped to the middle, and he was like digging something out of the ground or some shit. I don't know.
Oh, it's like 2.5, the first one.
There's gotta be.
I haven't seen those in a long time.
I've never seen them. This is the only Superman movie I've seen, just for context.
You haven't even
that's
seen
really
Man of Steel?
No.
Wow.
I guess if you count Batman v Superman, I didn't even see that. I saw Justice League, and only the Zack Snyder cut.
Oh,
Man.
right. It's so
I've
much
just,
better,
to be
man.
honest, not really cared about DC until this Superman movie.
I mean, you're not really a
and then I've got
superhero
pretty
guy
excited.
in general.
I was for a bit, but I was like big Marvel pilled. I was big MCU pilled.
Who wasn't?
Who wasn't? So this movie.
Well,
actually, we're gonna do our little rigmarole before we get into it.
Does that say
it seemed like you
Compound on your sweater?
No, it says. Oh, maybe this is too much information. It says Conestoga on it.
What are they
Should I
gonna?
do some sweater ASMR?
I mean,
No?
you've done it, so I don't know why you asked the question.
Yeah, but should I have?
No.
Is the question I'm asking. Okay, good to know.
So, how have you been, man? Big dog. How you been? Barked at you.
Where was the question start and end?
How have you
there?
been, big
Just
dog?
so that I know. Oh, I see. I've been okay. Just kind of hanging out, doing a lot of the stuff I need to be doing to live.
Okay.
Gonna keep it at
Christ. What?
That being said, we've done a little bit of sports talk at the beginning of some other podcasts. The Toronto Raptors are on a roll right now. I believe they've won 11 of their last 12
Aren't they
or something like that.
Second in the East or something?
Yeah, in a wide open East, as everyone keeps saying.
Yeah, just like how you're wide open for me. Pistons are first
Who
with
would have
15-3.
Yeah, Pistons popping off. Mm-hmm. But who would have thought that having your starting roster healthy and then also replacing Bruce Brown and Kelly Olynyk with Brandon Ingram would make the team a little bit better? Who would have? What a crazy.
Not many among us, honestly. Among us before the season, people were not high on this Raptors team.
No, nobody really was, and nobody was even high on the Brandon Ingram trade, which I feel proud to be able to say I've been high on that trade since it happened.
Yeah,
because everyone's like, "Nah, we traded a first-round pick," and it's like,
what draft was the first-round pick in?
It was a Pacers pick, which is why people are upset because the Pacers are obviously bombing
for this year,
this season. Yes.
Oh, yeah, that's a pretty valuable pick, though.
It is,
but I guess you would assume
we traded it to the
Pacers are
Pelicans, and that's the pick that the Pelicans traded to the Pacers for Derek Queen
so
in this year's
Pacers.
draft.
No, they traded with Atlanta for Derek Queen. But I know what you mean. The Pacers got that.
Sorry,
pick
but it
back,
was the Pacers. Yeah. Anyway,
I just didn't want you. I
Queen's
didn't want you.
looking
I didn't want you to get ruined in the marketplace of ideas for having slipped up in that horrendous way.
Yeah.
Saying that
I do
superstar Derek Queen was traded from Atlanta.
I did pick him up in fantasy, and
He's not
I
bad,
feel like that might
apparently.
have been a bit of a nab, a bit of a steal. But I think this is a case of people overvaluing picks because I think they think of what a pick could be.
Well, I
and
mean,
it's
this
like-
draft is supposed to be like crazy.
Yeah, but
AJ
also
DeBanza, Cam Boozer.
I still think the trade was good because having Brandon Ingram on my team is very good.
Yeah,
in my opinion. So
we'll make it to the playoffs. See what happens.
yeah, should be good. I'm enjoying the season. But how are you doing, brother?
I'm doing.
Maybe you can give a more detailed answer than me.
Well, I've been doing the things to keep myself alive, and I'll kind of keep it at that for the most part.
Hey, to be fair, a couple episodes ago, I asked how your week was, and you said fucked up, and I said any elaboration, and you said no.
Yeah, but then
So,
I had
like,
5 other things for you.
Yeah, that's true.
Only got one thing for you this time, and that's
Okay.
that I've kind of caught up on the Marvel movies these last couple days.
Shows too?
No. No, I'm not watching that
Okay,
ever.
good.
I'm never watching
Yeah.
a single one of those ever again. But I watched The Marvels. Very,
Okay.
very mid. I'd be
Yeah,
okay if
fair.
I had a kid and they liked it because it's kind of a kid's movie.
Aren't they all?
Captain America: Brave New World is kind of in the middle. It's also quite poor though, and Harrison
Okay.
Ford is not acting, I don't think. And
Well,
he does
He
Hulk
does this
out.
kind of in every interview, but in all the interviews, when asked
Why he
like
took
what
the
drew
part.
him to it, he was like, big money checks, big money whammies in my bank account.
I thought he would
So-
be more excited to Hulk out in this one though. He seemed like a guy who really wanted the opportunity to Hulk out.
Dude, he probably didn't even need to make an angry face.
Well,
They
there's a couple
probably
times where he slams his hand on the table, and he goes a little growly.
Yeah.
But
I mean, like, he probably didn't really Hulk out. They probably just, like, were like, we can make it look like Harrison Ford's hulking out.
I mean, yeah,
Like-
they didn't actually like feed him gamma rays. What are you talking about?
No.
You think he was gonna Hulk out
That's
for
not what I'm
real?
saying. No. I'm just saying, like, I doubt
You're
he
silly.
I'm just saying, I doubt
silly.
he was even in, like, a mocap booth, like, with the face capture.
They probably took some pictures
and-
of his face.
Well, or honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if they literally just
Actually-
used footage they have of him already.
they probably did because they did the de-aging thing for
well,
Indiana
there you go.
Jones, so they probably just used all the same data and shit they have for that to do this. Because
Put
Disney
a pin in the
owns
de-aging
that.
thing. I have a point to say about that when you're done saying your Marvel point.
Okay, last one I watched that I had to catch up on is Thunderbolts, which it's not great, but I feel like there's something there. Of this
You've
batch,
been pulling this knife out the past few episodes, and it's scaring me a little
Well, I
bit.
need you to know who the boss is.
Who's the boss is. And
It'll be
it's the
great
knife.
if we do the Scream series next year. Because
We'll
it
see.
is a ghost face knife. But the Thunderbolts, there's something there. And I like that director is going to do the X-Men movie. But again, felt like we're really grasping for straws a little bit. But now I'm caught up.
Okay.
I'm back in the Marvel hype train. Brand new day coming out next year. Sadie Sink
Yeah.
is in it.
I'm excited for the Spider-Mans, and I
Doomsday
don't know how to feel about the Doomsday or
comes out. I think the
what-
same day as Dune 3. So
Yeah, see, between those, I'll probably pick Dune. If I'm
Dune
being
son
real
or
with
Thought
ya.
daughter. Probably taking the Thought daughter on that one.
Dune son or Doomsday daughter.
Well, probably the Dune son, because at least
Probably
he can
the
probably
Dune son.
read
But Dune daughter or Doomsday son, also probably Dune daughter then.
Yeah. No, I think it's Dune either way.
Yeah.
But yeah, for the most part, unimpressed by the MCU in this recent iteration.
This is phase 5.
We're in phase 6 squarely after Fantastic Four.
Wait, so phase 4 ended with Endgame. And they've done a phase 5 and are now in 6?
I think that was phase 3.
That was phase 3?
Yeah, that was the end of... Let me check the wiki article.
Mamma mia.
Papapia, baby.
No shot.
Yeah, so the multiverse saga starts with phase 4, which starts with Black Widow. Phase 3 ends with Spider-Man Far From Home. Then we get such hits as Shang-Chi, The Eternals, No Way Home. Everyone loved that one. Multiverse of Madness, the Thor Love and Thunder that, everyone loves again.
Everyone loves.
Wakanda Forever, which I think some people are coming around on, but after my initial viewing, I was
I
of
remember even it
underwhelmed.
coming out and it being split. Some people being like, this is a great sequel to Black Panther, and some people being like, that was hog shit, dog shit. So I'm like...
I think I'm kind of in the middle. I think it's like horrible position they were put in because they lost like the star of their movie. And we're kind of like, fuck. But I think it's fine. And then phase 5 is Ant-Man Quantumania, another banger. Guardians 3, which I liked enough. The Marvels, which I said is meh. Deadpool and Wolverine, which you have seen.
Yeah.
Captain America Brave New World. And then Thunderbolts Asterix, which the asterisk here denotes them being named the New Avengers, actually. Did you know that?
Yeah.
And
I
then
did learn that.
phase 6 starts with Fantastic Four First Steps. And then Spider-Man.
So we're in phase 6 now.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
That is psychotic to me.
And then Spider-Man, Brand New Day. And then an Avenger movie, Avengers Doomsday, December 18th. And then Avengers Secret War 1 year later. Both directed by the Russo brothers.
Of course.
And then some future projects, Armor Wars. Not sure if anyone cares about the show about Rhodey. Black Panther 3, which I guess it's probably happening because they're going to give Ryan Coogler $3 trillion. But Blade, another Shang-Chi movie, and then at some point an X-Men movie.
I mean, I don't hate Ryan Coogler doing a Black Panther movie every couple of years to just make bank and then make movies he wants to, like in between.
Yeah.
It seems to be working for him.
It's more like, what the fuck's going on kind of a thing. But I guess the Avengers will sort that out.
Can I be honest? I feel like if you asked the average moviegoer, like, to summarize what has happened in the MCU,
Impossible.
like right before Endgame, I think genuinely probably 50% of like all general audiences could probably do a pretty good job, and I'd say like 75% could like generally like sum it up.
Yeah.
Whereas like now, I feel like if you ask general moviegoers to sum up what's happened since Endgame, I'd say maybe 5 or 10. Well, I feel like
there is no
I'm
way
underestimating
to sum it up.
how many Marvel fans there are.
There's no way to sum
like
it up.
maybe 15% of fans could give it a college try.
The issue is that people would be summing up before kind of the Avengers movies. They'd be like, oh, it's Cap, Thor. They had to fight. They're fighting Thanos.
Well, it's like they keep fighting these threats, Loki.
Yeah.
Like fucking Ronin.
But with this,
that's
that
Guardians of the
doesn't
Galaxy,
really
though.
exist. So it's just kind of a bunch of disconnected movies that are all kind of leading to something, even though like.
Which some people would say like, yeah, but it's not their fault because they were setting up Kang, and then like Jonathan Majors being outed as a sexual deviant ruined that. And it's like, yeah, but they were like really setting him up in Ant-Man Quantumania, which a lot of people say is the worst MCU movie.
Yeah, and that one also is bad because they immediately kill him and then say that he's going to come back, and then so you're like, so it doesn't matter. if he dies, if they defeat him at all.
Yeah,
There's
that's why when people are
1,700
like,
million of them.
it's because they got rid of Jonathan Majors. I'm like, it was not really on track before then either.
Yeah. But you know what? We'll be covering Phase 6 in depth. Because I've got Spider-Man Brand New Day in the sketch.
I'm fine to do the Spider-Mans.
Well, then we have to do the
For sure.
Avengers.
No. That's the thing with the MCU. We can't cover any of it without covering all of it. I'd genuinely be down for doing like a Marvel series, but it's literally like one episode is Phase 1.
That's so much work.
One episode. Yeah. Yeah.
We would just split them up into phases. Do Phase 1 in the first half, Phase 2 in the second half. Because those aren't very long. It's like 6 movies each. And then probably Phase 3. And anyway, that's not what the fuck we're talking about anyway.
No.
So stop messing with me.
Well, I wanted to bring up another thing because you brought up the de-aging of Harrison Ford. I'd like to bring up the de-aging of Jeff Goldblum in Wicked for Good. I'd like to briefly talk about Wicked for Good. So I watched Wicked, was blown away, loved it, thought it was great. Soundtrack stuck in my head for probably the better part of a year.
Popular.
Still pops in once in a while. Way to choose not even in the top 5 songs from that movie.
I don't watch things like that.
Yeah, so this is, anyway. So I was excited for Wicked for Good, knew nothing. I mean, going into Wicked, I knew nothing, but, like, going into Wicked for Good, I was like, I know nothing about, like, how this is going to wrap up. Olivia kept telling me, like, the second half of the play is worse, so, like, keep your expectations. And I was like, yeah, but a lot of people said the first half of Wicked was a bit messy, and they really, like, cleaned it up and, like, made it kind of a perfect product for the first film. They did not do that for the second one.
I heard, yeah.
I've seen it twice now. I saw it with Olivia, and then I saw it with Olivia and her like some of her siblings.
Yeah.
And it was better the second time, I think, because I went in being like,
it's kind of dog shit.
it's not as good. And then I watched it and I was like, yeah, it's fine. Whereas the first time I was like, I'm so excited, and then I was like, this is kind of stinky. Anyway, I don't want to get too into it, but like
maybe we'll do a Wizard of Oz series.
I honestly was thinking about it. I was like, it would have made sense if we did Wicked and Wicked for Good right about now, since it's coming out. But whatever.
We do Wizard of Oz, The Wiz, and then
just do all the Oz the Great and Powerful.
Yeah, and then also do Wicked and Wicked for Good.
Yeah, that would be interesting.
Yeah,
and we got to do it in chronological order.
In real life or in the
story?
I don't know.
That
what
would be release order would be chronological order in real life.
So wouldn't that be?
I think it would be Oz the Great and Powerful,
Wicked,
The Wiz. Oh, I don't know what.
I think The Wiz is after Wizard of Oz.
Oh, then it would be Oz the Great and Powerful, Wicked, Wizard of Oz, Wicked for Good.
No, because they turn into their. Spoiler, I guess. Who gives a fuck? They turn into the Tin Man in Wicked for Good, do they not?
Yes, but also the end of Wicked for Good is after the events of Wizard of Oz because they overlap. So it would make more sense to go Wicked, Wicked for Good, Wizard of Oz, and then The Wiz.
And then after that, we do the Grease films. You gotta shape
okay,
up.
now we're just pitching.
Because I need a man.
The point is, Wicked for Good was just like fine. If Wicked is like 4.5 stars to me, Wicked for Good is like 2.5, 3 stars. It was like just fine. Actually, probably 3 stars. It was fine. All of the performances are somehow worse. Almost all of the music is somehow worse.
Because they're so emaciated. They can't act.
Perhaps.
Low energy.
But fun fact, though, probably the most standout performance from the movie, which is telling, is Ethan Slater as the Tin Man.
SpongeBob!
Yeah. Because, like, I've been getting a bunch of TikToks of people, like, I guess musical theater nerds, playing the original theater recording of one of the songs where he has to be like, I've got a personal score to settle with the witch! Because he, like, knew her. But, like, they've been playing that, and they're like, I just know Ethan Slater's gonna totally biff this line. Like, he's gonna totally, like, not land this line. And everyone in the comments is like, unfortunately, he actually did even better. Because he's, like, fucking, like, crazed, deranged, angry incel vibes.
Makes sense.
And kind of justifiably so. His kind of whole life was ruined. He was turned into a fucking
Was he the
bucket.
Scarecrow or the Tin Man?
He's Tin Man.
Hate to see it.
Spoiler alert, Jonathan Bailey is Scarecrow.
I mean, the shit's been out for like 40 years, hasn't it?
Yeah, but...
Like, it was a book and shit.
Anyway, the movie was just fine, but I brought up the de-aging because there's a point where, even though it was heavily, heavily alluded to and quite obvious in the first movie that Jeff Goldblum was, like, in this kind of, like, early scene... They did a flashback in Wicked for Good and tried to de-age his face, and it looked like he was using a Snapchat filter.
They de-aged him to the first Wicked movie?
In the first Wicked movie, there's like a...
Flashback?
Yeah, but it's like at the beginning of the movie setting things up. So it's when it's like before Elphaba's born, they do this scene where it's like...
I did watch the
her
first,
mom
like, 30
slept with a
something.
random guy.
Yeah.
And she turned out green. And then in this, and it's like pretty clear though what's happening, especially because Jeff Goldblum is singing in the song. It's like pretty obvious. Anyway, but then in this movie, it's like he finds out, whoa, that blah blah blah. But they do a flashback to the original scene that was in the first one. But this time he turns to the camera, and it's literally like, like he looks like he has a Snapchat.
Looks like Carl
filter on.
Havoc.
Yeah, it's pretty horrible. Literally, the first time Olivia and I both looked at each other like, ugh, and then talked about it after. And the second time, we still couldn't help ourselves but look at each other and go, ugh, because it just like sometimes de-aging. I'd say de-aging works about 2% of the time from what I've seen. And even then, I'm like, I can tell it's
I don't know when it's worked.
probably when you haven't noticed it is the truth.
I guess
I haven't seen The Irishman, but I'm assuming
it looks
that's
like
not
kind
bad.
of shit in that one because it's Robert De
good to
Niro is 75, supposed to be 20 years old, moves like a geriatric. You ever seen the clip of him stomping that guy's head out?
No.
He looks like a geriatric man because he is. But you know who's not geriatric? Clark Kent.
David Cornsweet.
Well, he's kind of up there.
For being sweaty?
No,
Is that what you said?
He's like 30. Oh. But Superman, the movie Superman, 2025.
Yeah.
What an interesting film this is. We've seen it together.
What an interesting film. We did see it together.
And this is the first of James Gunn's new DC
DCU
project. And yes, that does mean that this will be a continuing series on the pod.
Actually, technically, Peacemaker was the first DCU project.
I mean, technically, it was the Suicide Squad.
Oh, well,
So why don't you
good point.
eat my
Shut
ass
my
from the
pie
back?
hole.
So this will become a continuing series.
Unless in the events that it turns out all of them are consistently bad, in which case,
Why? We're allowed to
discussion
cover
will be
bad
had.
movies.
I know, but like
talk-
I'm saying, if it gets to the point where it's like, this is dark. I'd rather be thrown into a mud
We've got
pile.
Toy Story on the schedule.
Oh, you're crazy. You're a crazy guy.
But this is his introduction to his version of the DC universe, for real. Because the Suicide Squad was still kind of playing in that other sandbox. It was like a weird half step. But this is the real shit, This is
technically the one setting it up, even though it's not the first one. It's the one setting it up.
This is the Iron Man.
Which, smart to start with Superman, especially considering, at least as far as I know, like I said, this is the only Superman movie I've seen, but like, people were like, we've been starved for like a good, proper Superman
There hasn't
movie
been a good
for a
Superman
while.
since the Christopher Reeve ones. Yeah, because it was Brandon Routh after that. Then it went into the Zack Snyder stuff, and that's not really Superman in the Man of Steel.
That's the thing. The main discussion around this movie that I saw when it was coming out was like a lot of people being excited, being like, "This is my Superman! Like, finally, we're getting the Superman that I know and love from the comics. Like, this feels so much more accurate." And then like Snyder Bros, who just have a hate boner for James Gunn in some like kind of psychotic way, were like, "You guys have no idea what you're fucking about. Henry Cavill was robbed. He's the perfect Superman." And it's like a lot of people were saying like, those people don't know who Superman is. They know who Henry Cavill Superman is kind of the vibe I felt.
It feels the Henry Cavill Superman is more. Zack Snyder had this obsession with them being gods, and so the Henry Cavill one is more of like a mythical figure instead of like
it felt closer
a
to
guy
like
Injustice
Superman.
Yeah, and Injustice Superman is like the worst version, not the worst, but like the evilest version of Superman, the most apathetic. Where it's like the Man of Steel ends with him literally doing a 9/11 times 25 by smashing through every building with Zod,
which happens a little bit in this movie, but it's not exclusively his fault.
But he's not smashing someone into the buildings. Buildings get destroyed, but he's trying to fix everything, which is the key difference. Where it's like, if you're Superman, try and take the other guy who's fighting you out of a major city so you don't have collateral damage. Whereas with this one, it's like it's being caused to a major city.
Yeah.
But this movie made $616 million on a $225 million budget. Pretty good for a time when comic book movies kind of feel like they're slumping.
Well, can I be honest? I did expect it to make more. I think because it's Superman, I was like, this is making $1 billion. Which it didn't.
No.
But it still had, like, I think, the popularity and cultural impact that it kind of needed to kind of become on everyone's minds.
It kind of spun out some memes.
Started. Yeah.
Like the punk rocker thing was pretty big.
I'm a punk rocker, yes I am. And then also like Lex Luthor fucking losing his shit.
Yeah. Which is, kind of, I guess, how you can measure the not the quality, but the cultural impact of a movie.
It's good to see. Like the truth is that like having memes made about you, like look at the Minecraft movie. That's a whole different beast in this regard.
Made
like
about the
that
same
movie's
amount of money.
entire popularity was kind of obviously people know Minecraft and like Minecraft, but as far as the movie being the phenomenon that it was fully because of the meme culture around it.
Yeah. And we went to see that because of Chicken Jockey and such. Like
I saw it twice in theaters.
That's psychotic. Minecraft movie did make $300 million more than this, which is.
Did it make a billy?
No, just under.
Minecraft didn't make a billion.
But only like 100 million more, or 70 million more domestically. So I guess Superman doesn't play as well overseas because he is kind of like, I think part of the discussion around the Superman box office performance was we're at a time where like America is becoming the villains and Superman is the American hero in a way, even though he's not actually American.
In the movies, not like. They don't really pump up he's an American as much.
But like his iconography.
He is literally red, white. Well, not really white, but he's red and blue.
Yeah.
He's like the good hero guy.
It's kind of like Captain America as American heroes and then him. Mm-hmm. Like Batman is kind of detached a little bit. I think Spider-Man is more insulated. But like there was this little conversation of like, are people internationally not seeing it because Trump's fucking with everyone in the entire world?
I'm sure that was a part of it. I do also think part of it is superhero fatigue. Yeah. I do also think that part
that's probably
of it
the
is
bigger thing.
Yeah. I do also think that like I was going to say the truth is that people just like aren't going to movies as much as they used to, which is true.
Yeah.
But like then you look at like the Minecraft movie and the fucking Super Mario Brothers movie, and like,
well, the movies
like,
that made
movies
more than
are
this,
making shit ton of money.
movies that made more than this. Lilo and Stitch just crossed over $1 billion. Like it
Crazy.
made it just over. These are movies that released in America, and like Canada and stuff. Because Ninja, Chinese animated movie, made like $2 billion.
Yeah, and apparently genuinely great.
Oh yeah,
The
I've
second
heard
one.
it's pretty good.
Apparently the first one's kind of ass, but apparently the second one is like immaculate. Anyway,
But above Superman in the box office is Lilo and Stitch, Minecraft movie, Jurassic World Rebirth, Demon Slayer, Infinity Castle, How to Train Your Dragon, and then F1. And then right below it is Mission Impossible. So like people are
kind
still
of crazy that F1 made more money than Superman to me. That's a little crazy. Although I guess
it's a
F1
lot
is
more
kind of, like,
international.
huge right now.
It's very international. Like F1 made half the money that Superman made domestically, and like 20 million more.
Probably big in Europe.
Yeah. And like, you know, people are still going to see Mission Impossibles. They went to see Fantastic Four a little bit, Conjuring, like Sinners was also big. Weapons did very well. So people are going to see movies. It's just like, I think the Superman, it's also the first one of this series. Like Iron Man didn't do too well because like people who were in the comic books went to see it. But
Yeah.
Marvel didn't have that kind of cachet, and I'm not saying that like DC kind of needs to build that up, but I think people need to have trust that like these movies are decent and it's not a waste of money to go see them. So maybe the next movie in the franchise, Supergirl, I don't know if it'll draw more people. There is part of me that's kind of pessimistic because it has a girl in the title and people don't seem to like to see movies about women. So, you know, we'll see. Millie Alcock seems pretty fun.
And a lot of people love her.
Yeah.
I haven't seen her in anything because it's mostly just House of the Dragon and then a couple other things.
Yeah, I think mostly just House of the Dragon.
Yeah. So here's the thing, like, I'm excited. Sure. For me, it really, and we'll get into this, it really depends on like writers and directors and how much freedom they have. And I do have faith that James Gunn will give writers and directors some level of creative freedom, because he's talked previously about like the MCU and how like they've lost a lot of like high talent creatives because they were kind of forced to fit within the MCU framework. Edgar Wright is the main one that I think of, but plenty of others. So I have faith that James Gunn will kind of be a bit more lenient on that. That being said, like I said, we'll get more into this. I think a lot of the weaknesses of this film do come from it being a James Gunn project, which is interesting because when it came out, I saw so many people being like, not only is this a great Superman movie, but it's a great James Gunn movie and one of his best projects to date. And I'm kind of like, it's pretty good. But I feel like also, like I said, a lot of the faults of this movie, I go, oh, that's kind of just a James Gunnism. Kind of like cranked up because he has full creative control over this, which we'll get into.
I think that's fair. So let me do my short little synopsis, okay?
Yes, I'm so curious what this is going to sound like.
My tiny little synopsis.
Yeah. It does get shorter each week, and I am just saying that.
It's going to be so tiny this week.
Okay.
Can you count me down?
Yeah. 3,
from 10.
2, 1.
From 10.
From 10? 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
So the movie starts, Superman, he's got the shit kicked out of him by the Hammer of Bavaria. And we learn pretty quickly that Lex is somehow related to this hammer. who is beating up Superman. So
Hammer.
Superman.
Sorry, I'm just gonna do some ad libs while
Superman
you do this.
heals up while he's in his little fortress of solitude, but the engineer has seen it and she knows where it is. And the engineer is a nano enhanced lady.
Freak.
Okay. Be kind.
Sorry.
He goes to fight the Hammer of Bavaria again, gets his ass beat again. And then the Hammer of Bavaria kind of leaves and fucks off. And then we see he's like very deeply tied to Lex here. Then we see Soups in the daily.
Employed by him even.
Employed. And his name is Ultraman. And then Soups goes to work because, his job as Superman is done for the day. He goes to the Daily Planet with Jimmy, and there's Lois, and there's Beck Bennett, and there's Perry, and then there's the girl who wears the wig and the push-up bra.
Cat.
He has a little flirt with Lois. It's something like that. He has a little flirt with Lois. Jimmy gets, all the girls. And yada, yada, yada. Superman goes back to doing Superman stuff. He has to fight a kaiju. He meets the Justice Gang. And then they're like, what the heck's going on? Where did Superman go? Because he gets captured. Because apparently his parents, their message was like, you have to have a harem. Like it's a romantasy novel. Let's make you have a harem of women. Anyway.
He doesn't get captured, though. He turns himself in.
Ugh, this guy
to get
and
the
his
dog.
Technicalities. Oh, yeah, he has a dog. So he goes, he's taken into like a pocket dimension where there's like big white guys. I don't know what they're doing. The big long white guys. You remember him?
Yeah, Lex called him Mr. Handsome at one point.
Yeah. Seems a little
just
sarcastic.
Another fucking random thing.
Slightly sarcastic. There's a bunch of monkeys typing on their keyboards.
This is a crazy synopsis.
And here's the interesting thing is we have learned recently in recent days that a lot of these online trolls are not actually monkeys in a pocket dimension, but are just people from other countries trying to instill rage within domestic borders.
Is that true?
Did you not see the Twitter thing where they turned on the location of all the accounts and like half of them, all the ones that were like mega mommy for Trump, it was like based in Nigeria, or they were like based in Israel or based in buttfuck Bangladesh, like places where mega people probably
which they're probably being paid by.
Yeah, probably.
I mean, obviously, they're not just like, it's not like a single
it
mom
could
being
be.
like, I need to change the political climate in the United States.
Could be fun. Maybe.
Anyway.
Miss Lois goes to try and save Superman, but Superman's getting fucked up by Metamorpho Man, and he's got a little fucking weird looking baby. This kid looks so messed up.
Okay, don't need to.
Oh, that kid's
rude,
so ugly. Anyway, they kill the guy that gave him shawarma one time. Shoot him in the head.
I think it was falafel, but
I didn't know that you were doing the synopsis.
I
wanted this to be short. You just keep extending it. I don't know what's going on.
Yeah, I'm the one extending it.
I don't know. Basically, Lex tries to tear a hole in the world and draw out Superman so he can kill him, but Lex is kind of too baby to kill him. Maybe he'll try and do that in the next movie. Superman fights Ultraman, realizes that it's a clone of himself. Ruh-roh. Maybe Superman should wear a hairnet from now on. Keep those strands on tight. Superman beats him, closes up the pocket black hole thing. I don't really care about the end of this movie all that much. Ends up kissing Lois, and then he goes back to the Fortress of Solitude. We see Supergirl. She's like, where's my dog? She's drunk because she's hanging out on a red planet. Ruh-roh, what a troublemaker she is.
A red sun planet.
Hopefully she, maybe she'll get a boyfriend in the next movie. I don't know.
Ew. Weird. Just ew. That's gross.
Hopefully she gets a boyfriend. And then he sits in his thing, and they're like, we're going to put videos of your parents. And you're like, what the fuck? He doesn't like his parents because they want him to have a harem, bro. But it's actually Ma and Pa Kent.
Yeah.
Yeah, because at some point he goes to visit them, and
he smiles,
and
and
they're
then
like
it ends.
country-ass bumpkins kind of a thing.
And then there's the most bullshit-ass excuse for a post-credit scene I've ever seen. Literally a 3-second shot of
Him on the moon?
Superman and Krypto looking at the Earth.
Did you
It's
watch
like,
the
okay.
final one?
No.
It's him and Mr. Terrific looking at a crack in a building, and they're like, have a little argument. Mr. Terrific's like, I can't fix that. And Superman's like, oh, I didn't mean to be rude. They're bad. They're bad. Like, if you're
Yeah,
going
that
to do
sounds
the
not
post-credit scene, don't make it a waste of my fucking time.
Yeah.
If you
Either
wanna
do
show
no
me
post-credit scene,
Yeah.
or... And here's the thing. Okay, here is my rules for post-credit scenes. If you're going to do a post-credit
Adam
scene,
Rule segment.
it has to actually be content that people would be interested in, and actually like maybe reveal something about the next movie, or like gives you a little sneak peek into another character, whatever, blah blah blah. It just needs to be worth it, and it should be after the initial credits, not the full scroll, but after the initial credits. If you're just doing one, if you just do one post-credit scene and it's after the full credits, fuck you. Okay, and I mean that.
All right.
Make me sit through all that shit.
Fair enough.
You just do it after the main credits.
Fair enough.
But if you're doing two, do one after the main credits, do one after the regular credits. But like the first one better be like decent. The second one better be fucking like this was worth sitting here. Because like the first credits, you're sitting there for like what, a minute? Maybe
probably
a minute and a half,
Yeah.
2 minutes. For the full credits, you're sitting there for like 5, 6, maybe even 7 minutes.
And by shit, just to clarify, you mean all of the people who worked on the movie and made it possible for it to be something you watched?
I'm not. Just to be clear, I'm not arguing that
I mean, you
credits
just
don't have a
referred to it as
validity.
shit. So I don't know. That's the burp of dismissal.
That's the burp of dismissal.
Maybe we should start writing down these synopses. Actually, I'm not going
Okay,
to.
so that's actually what I was going to say. I love your style of synopsis because it is go into so much detail, mentioning every little thing that happens for the first like 10 minutes of the movie, and then skip the whole middle, and then say a bunch of random shit happens at the end.
That's kind of how I think of movies, honestly. Like when I
Yeah.
think of a movie and I'm like, oh, I love that movie. It's like the first 30 minutes, and then after that I'm like, okay, guys, let's wrap this shit up.
I think either you got to write this shit down, or you just got to know the difference between synopsis and summary. I feel like you're going for a synopsis where you're saying all the events of the movie. We're just looking at like 3 sentences.
I mean, I didn't
Like-
put many periods in there. Maybe some ellipses.
That's
but
true. It might have honestly been 1 sentence, the whole thing, but we'll have to run that through Grammarly or something.
Anyway,
Let's
let's start off with some positives.
let's start off with just general thoughts,
Okay.
like just to get general thoughts out there.
General thoughts. I saw this movie twice in theaters, and I think it's because this is the kind of comic book movie that I have wanted for a while. And there was a very long period, pretty much most of the life cycle of a comic book movie, save for a couple, dips and dods in there, where they're so gray and so dreary and so self-serious. And you're like, guys, like let's bring up
supposed
the
to be
fun and like actually try to like, maybe they're not going to all be 10 out of 10 jokes, but let's try to make a couple.
Yeah.
Not just be like, he's right behind me, isn't he? Like, let's try and do something.
I mean, he was right behind them.
He was,
so.
though. What's your name? Dr. Octopussy? What the hell?
Whoa.
That's a bit of a James Bond reference for those deep movie nerds. Anyway, But I like that this has some color to it. I like that it's kind of like a little strange. And I like that.
Yeah.
Another thing that I like a lot about this is that it like kind of tries to realize a full world where like there are normal people living in it, which a lot of Marvel movies, if you watch them, do not do at all.
No.
They can go 5 full movies without showing someone who is a regular person.
Which I think is also especially in the newer ones. Like
Fantastic Four, they show crowds.
Sure, yeah. The funny thing is the first one that comes to mind as an example is a deleted scene from the first Avengers movie where Ashley Johnson actually, who voices Ellie in The Last of Us and is also like a member in Critical Role, but she plays like this like coffee shop barista who like is in this building and then needs to be saved, and then she meets Captain America. She is in the movie just as a reaction shot after all that happens. But like I remember seeing that and being like, I would have liked that in the movie because like you're actually getting some on the ground people reacting and stuff like that. But you're right that like, to be honest, I do agree that this movie did it more, but I could have honestly done with even more like there's other shit happening. The movies that I've seen do it the best are like the Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield Spider-Man movies, where they really go, which it's easier to do in New York, but like Metropolis,
It's New York.
should be, yeah, you should have the same like ease of access of doing that. But like the Spider-Man movies, less so the Tom Holland ones, so they do it a little bit, but like the OG 2 sets of Spider-Man films, like I feel like they're good at being like, this is a living, breathing city with other people in it. There's regular people here. Spider-Man kind of just exists around them.
Yeah.
This movie does that a little bit, although I feel like the main 2 ways are Molly, who's the, like you just said, the like, we'll just say shawarma. I thought it was falafel, but like maybe it's shawarma. But like the shawarma guy who meets him at the beginning and then like gets executed by Lex Luthor. Like that's the big one, and then the other one is kind of just like focusing on the Daily Bugle, kind of gets that across as well. But like I honestly wish they did it even more, but I also feel like the reason they can't is because they did kind of go so large scale, which to be honest is my biggest gripe with the film. So here's my overall thoughts. I do like the movie. I think it's good. I think it's really enjoyable. I think that David Cornsweet as Superman is very good.
Incredible.
Yeah, I think he's great. Even if like watching interviews with him just sold me even more on him being Superman. But he's very good. I think generally the performances are good. I think there's a few spots where they kind of lose me, but like I do like the movie overall. My biggest gripe with it is that it's kind of like there's so much shit happening, which I think is due in part to what you were saying of like they're trying to show this like already established world. They're not trying to like start it all fresh, which I do think that the beginning kind of text where it's like 3 centuries ago, blah, 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 this happened, and then kind of like
breaks it down,
going closer and closer to like, this is how we got to this point. This is why metahumans are kind of generally already accepted here. But I do feel like it does also hurt the movie a bit, because I feel like they are like trying to instantly normalize all of this shit that's happening, which I feel like kind of made them feel like they had permission to just do whatever, because they're like, well, the world's this world has accepted it, so like we can do all the things we want to do. And it's like the one note that I wrote down was while they were in the pocket dimension and like Superman and Metamorpho just got out, where I wrote the anti-proton river sucks, bro, which we can talk about. It's just ugly CGI slop. But the main note that I wrote was This is just a case of there being too much shit happening. Superman is in a river that looks like the movie Pixels while holding onto a goblin baby above the water, while a goblin dad, who is just ahead, wraps his stretchy limbs around Superman and a flying CGI dog, while a guy with flying balls investigates a pocket universe that can turn into a black hole.
While they're being
And it's
attacked by paramilitary.
Yeah. And I'm just like, that is just like so much like specific shit. It's not even so much shit happening all at once. It's so much like specific and kind of goofy shit all happening at once that's where it's the worst, is when they're in that fucking Pixels river.
Oh, yeah.
But like in that moment, I was like, this is just like, I can't even enjoy any of these elements on their own just because it is so much. It's honestly, I remember coming out of Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2 in theaters and leaving and being like, I enjoyed that, but especially the end kind of just felt like it was a lot of shit happening. Whereas like I watch that now and I'm like, pretty easy to follow in comparison to like a lot of shit that like it happens now. And I don't know what is that a product of we've got to have a million things happening at once to keep attention span? Is that a product of them being like, we have the freedom to do whatever, so let's just do whatever? Like, I don't know what the cause is, but it does feel kind of muddled, not just in that shitty anti-proton river scene.
I think the problem is that the scope is too large and the stakes are too high.
Which is my other... Sorry, I'll let you go right after this. That's my other big gripe, is that, like, there's a big fucking dimensional rift ripping through much... Like, that... It's so high stakes that I can't care. Like...
Yeah. And it looks bad. Well, like, it doesn't look bad, but it's like...
I kind of just wish that the end conflict had to do with, like, Jarhanpur and... Baravia. Like, I wish that Superman just went there
and then had to fight Ultraman there, and Lex
or like Lex got beaten and was like, I'll fucking do it myself, and he shows up there as well to I think force this.
They're saving Lex and Superman fight for Man of Tomorrow, which is in 2 years, because that's kind of what happens in that comic. But I think you have Superman fight Ultraman and the Engineer, and the Justice League goes against them, and they have all their like troops and something, and then they fight for Jarhanpur instead of like there's that conflict, and then there's also the gash being ripped into the earth where it's like, this doesn't matter anymore because there's a chance that they're going to tear the entire earth into a black hole. It's just too much.
It's literally like Superman's like, sorry, I got to get to Jarhanpur. And Mr. Terrific's like, there's not going to be a Jarhanpur or a Metropolis or a world if you don't come here. And it's like, so then anytime a character's like, you need to do this or the world is gone. I'm like, well, I know that's not going to happen. So like, but like, I don't know. It's a bit too high stakes for me, and I know it's Superman. Maybe that's the argument, is like, it's Superman. He's like the superhero. Like, we need the stakes to meet him, and it's like, but we start the movie off with him getting his ass handed to him.
And also,
so like, why can't we just do that?
The rift isn't really related to anything to do with his character, because a lot of the conflict of the movie at the start is because he gets involved in this conflict. Mm-hmm. So then it makes sense to have him have to make the choice to go back and insert himself again, more than it does to completely remove that choice from him and make him go fight
like,
in
I'll have my friends do
some
it.
universal rift.
Which is like, I think that was one of my main critiques when we first exited the theater, was I was like, it felt like it felt so unsatisfying for them to like build up this like Superman cares a lot about this conflict and making sure that like innocent lives aren't lost regardless of the like socio-political ramifications. He just cares about saving lives and doing good, and then having these like Jarhanpurian kids lifting this flag, being like, Superman, Superman, and then fucking Guy Gardner shows up. It's like, it's just not a satisfying payoff. Like, I almost wanted Superman to send everybody else to fucking deal with the wormhole and be like, guys, this is the most important, all hands on deck there, but like, this is a personal issue to me, is that I see this conflict resolved. But like, then people would be like, what, so Superman's saving people instead of the, like,
I think
I don't like how they handled the rift. It would all be better if there just was no rift.
Yeah,
is the truth.
And I honestly think the whole pocket dimension thing is kind of dumb. Like, you could just have an underground base.
Oh, here's the thing. Even if they did the pocket dimension thing, I just wish it wasn't revealed in the first, like,
30 seconds.
10, 15 minutes of the movie. Like, one of the first things that happens is they reveal there's this pocket dimension thing, and they talk about the pocket dimensions, and they go into it like 15 times throughout the movie. And it's just like...
And then Mr. Terrific says that anytime you use it, there's a risk. But we've seen them use it without risk 10 times.
Well, I think he's implying that there was risk all those times. Lex Luthor just doesn't care.
I know, but it's like, there's no indication that something could go wrong, right? Like, they're sending the fucking Baravian guy through it both ways to give him a donut. Like,
yeah. I do think that as well as, like, the rift itself, when it finally happens, I guess the point is to show how unhinged and, like, psychotic and sadistic Lex Luthor is in his, like, mission of defeating Superman.
You can
like,
do that by having him open
anything.
fire on defenseless civilians.
Yeah.
And honestly, that probably...
Or just, like, sacrifice, like, being, like... If he made a decision that, like, his whole LexCorp staff was going to die, but it was for a chance at killing Superman or something. It's like, that comes across that, like, even the people closest to him he does not care about as long as he kills Superman, instead of him being like, I don't care if the world is ripped in half. I have to have a win over this guy.
Yeah.
It's like, that's, like, psychotic and, like, evil supervillain, but it's also kind of like, this guy's a fucking, like, obsessive dweeb. That's the other thing. I know you like this movie, and I like it too, as we said, but it seems like you like it a lot more than I do. I don't want to shit on a movie you like a lot.
I don't
considering you said this is literally, like, the superhero movie you've been waiting for.
You can say whatever you want. It doesn't really matter to me.
Okay, I think most of the dialogue and honestly most of the performances through most of the movie are pretty poor.
Really?
Yeah. The main one that gets me, two main things. One, Nicholas Hoult, great actor. Mm-hmm. A lot of people gas him up in this role.
Yeah.
I think that, like, there are moments where it's quite good, but for the most part throughout the movie, I'm like, he's kind of giving, and this is a problem with the whole movie, which I'll get to, he's kind of giving, like, has the most intelligent, clever, smart, like, response to every single thing that's said to him syndrome, which some movies have. I kind of think that's a thing throughout this whole movie at a lot of parts, but, like, he has it a lot. Also, I think he's just, like, and I know this is kind of the point, we talked about this when we first got out of the movie, where you were like, that's kind of the point, but I'm like, he's kind of just a complete and utter loser. It's like, I'm not really scared of him, even when he's like, blah, like, fucking gyrating, all veins are popping out of his big bald head. Like, even when that's happening, I'm, like, not scared of him. I'm like, oh, this guy's like this guy's a little loser.
Okay.
Like,
can we pause? Can we talk about this one before you say your second point?
Yes.
I think the scary part of him is kind of the thing with Elon Musk, where, like, inherently he is not scary, and I could probably beat him up.
But he has the power.
But he has so much power because of the fucked up system.
Yeah.
I think that's the scarier part. Because you see Lex ingrained in the government, making decisions for people. I think it would have also been a better a better note to like hammer that home if there was actually some indication that he did have the power to make people say that the video of his parents wasn't altered when it actually was. Because I think that thing where they just go, oh no, it's legit.
They have
like
14 different characters say, no, I swear, there's no way it was doctored.
Guys, like how are linguists decoding Kryptonian and the hackers are also decoding Kryptonian technology? Like, it doesn't make any sense.
No.
But I think the scary part about that villain, and I don't think it's like he's not fucking long legs, but it's the fact that he has so much power and he's so like kind of smarmy and dumb and like mentally weak, but he can do whatever he wants because he has so much money.
Yeah, I get that, because I guess I think of Elon and I'm not like scared of Elon, and I do think he's a loser, but with Elon, I'm like, that's a sociopath loser who thinks he's doing he thinks what he's doing is good. Lex, I think, just genuinely seems like a tantrumed out toddler most of the time. I
guess, but like, it's not like Elon's on ketamine and shit 24/7, right? Like,
I honestly, this I would have been a bit more on this like characterization of Lex Luthor if like there was just a scene of him snorting coke in the bathroom for a minute. I'd be like,
I think they didn't push it far enough.
No, yeah, that's the thing. I think Nicholas Holt's performance, which is a lot of what people are talking about being very good, I think it's like very like committed.
It's very expressive
performance.
Yeah.
Yes, which I think would work if they like fully committed to the character in the writing as well.
Yeah.
But anyway,
I understand that point. What was your second one?
My second one, which I've also talked to you about, is the interview scene between Lois and Clark.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people touted that as like this great scene and like this great dynamic. And so this is what I wrote. I wrote, the interview scene is so interesting to me because on one hand, I love the subject matter of the conversation, and there's a couple good acting moments, and I feel like it's really good for building the character of Clark Kent, like showing what he cares about, what he's passionate about, what he doesn't even think about, like kind of carelessly. I think all that's good, but on the other hand, it suffers from the perfect response issue that I mentioned earlier, where like someone says something and then they instantly have the perfect response to what they said, locked and loaded, ready to go without even a second passing by. And that scene specifically, kind of, to me, the vibes I got was that it was like two high school theater students doing a dialogue scene for a project where like, it was like, so you don't think this? Well, actually, I do think this. Oh, so you that means this. Oh, that's not what I mean there. Like, it's just a lot of like, you know what I'm saying?
I know you.
Like, it's a lot of like, this person says this person responds this. This person
it's like act and react kind of a thing.
Yeah, and I do, like I said, there are some good acting moments, like where like David Cornswell will like get flustered before he says his thing, but for the most part, it's like, line delivery, line response, line delivery, line response. And it's very quick. There's not much space in between. And there's just like a lot of like, this is kind of just a modern movie problem, not this movie, but like a lot of like sarcastic lines, a lot of like,
well, that's also a James Gunn thing.
Yeah.
Too. Like he in general suffers from the perfect response thing.
Yes. Which, that's why I mentioned earlier, like, a lot of the things that make this movie great are because of James Gunn. A lot of the movie's, like, weaknesses are because of James Gunn. And, like, I also wrote that the dialogue feels a little bit Netflix movie sometimes, in the way that, like, characters will literally say exactly what they're thinking and exactly what their motivations are, which is also just a modern movie thing because people think their audiences are dumb.
Yeah.
Like, the one example was, like, when Lex and the engineer are in Superman's house,
Fortress of Solitude,
and they're like getting the shit, and he's like, he's not a he, he's an it, a thing. He needs to get blah. And he like literally spells out exactly how he feels about Superman as if we couldn't pick up on that. Yeah. And then the engineer comes up and literally says, I know I've sacrificed my own humanity to stop it. And it's like, did we need to know? Did we need her to tell Lex that she went through experiments that he
It doesn't make sense why she would say that.
And it's the same thing with like later in the fucking or I think it's earlier actually. Yeah, why are the people giving the fight commands to Ultraman talking about the fight commands and how they work and how Lex came up with them to each other? They all know. They all work there.
And also, you can pick up on it pretty easily if you're paying attention.
Yeah. And especially because they do it like 15 times.
Yeah.
And like multiple times throughout the movie. Like, yeah, someone could figure out. They literally stay on a screen, show F11, and then show the move of him uppercutting. And then Lex says F11, and then you see Ultraman. Like, and they do that like 6 times. People can pick up on it, but they just needed someone to be like, one of the people computing the commands to fight goes, how is he fighting like this? Just so someone can be like, he came up with all these commands to fight. It's like, you are doing that. You don't need to tell each other that. Sorry, I'm getting a little.
No,
heated.
I agree. I think,
like I said, that's not a this movie thing. That is a like modern thing. Modern movie, modern TV. It's just thinking your audience is stupid. Unfortunately, it is also in this movie, so I do have to critique that part of it, and there is a lot of it. But I'm down to move to positive things.
Well,
unless you've got some criticisms on that as well.
I think the interview scene is a little better than you're giving it credit for, because that is not something that we get a lot of from Superman, or recently have gotten a lot of from Superman.
That's why I said it's interesting. I didn't even say it's bad. It's just very interesting to me because there are so many good aspects of it. And I think that's one of the most important scenes for the movie as far as like characterizing Superman and setting up the stakes and establishing him and Lois's relationship. Like, it's a very important scene and it does a lot of it right. I just also feel like it's very long and there's almost no time to breathe in the scene. And maybe that's just me. I just feel like, I mean, I already talked about why I don't love it, but
I think we kind of needed that spelled out generally as to like exactly why Superman does what he does, because I don't think people, if you're coming in with the knowledge of the Henry Cavill one, this is a completely different guy, and I think it's trying to hammer that home. Yeah. And even like everything is completely different. The Lex, the Lois, everything. I think Corn Sweat and Rachel Brosnahan have some good chemistry. Do I think they're the best actors? Not necessarily. And I think, honestly, the Lois character is a little underserved for how much time they give her in the movie.
Well, that kind of is a perfect transition to what I was thinking of saying, but didn't want to interrupt you, which is just, I think generally the women characters in this movie are kind of underbaked. Yeah. Because Lois is the best one, and has the most, but even she is kind of like, she's kind of touted as like, she's not touted. They want you to believe that like she is a strong, independent, like gutsy, like has a lot of drive, like won't back down from like her morals or doing what she believes is right or getting the work. Like, she is very strong in her convictions. That's like what is being communicated. But the way that they do that is something that like a lot of movies fall into when they don't know how to write women, to be honest, which is just like make them sarcastic and sassy. Yeah. And that is how they communicate that they are like independent,
Strong, independent. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's like so a great way to show that they're strong and independent is just to show them
doing stuff, being able to
being
do
themselves unapologetically, rather than like
things.
being on the offense, which, like I said, is a thing that a lot of movies fall into. And I think that's the issue with the Lois character, who is still the best and most developed woman in the movie. But then you look at the other women in the movie. Who have you got? You've got
Hawk
Kat,
Girl.
who is just wig and boobs for the most part.
She's not
You've
really
got
a character.
Yeah, you've got Hawk Girl, who like is fine but doesn't really do anything other than
She's just a part
kill
of
the president
she's
of
the third person on the Justice Gang.
Yeah, she screeches and she kills a political leader.
Which,
That's
fair
basically
enough.
what she does.
And then
Which
you've got,
I wrote down, like, there's no shot that people working on this movie weren't like pissing themselves laughing anytime they were working on one of the screech scenes. Like, it's so it's goofy,
ridiculous. And then you've got
and then who
Eve,
else? Eve, who once
the
again is
girlfriend.
literally touted as like dumb bimbo, is really
Yeah.
the
dumb bimbo who loves to
archetype
take
character.
selfies.
Yeah,
But
which like
she's
they
actually taking pictures of things, secret.
she's
things in the
actually
background.
smart, but we're still gonna make it seem like she's like desperate
and she's got
and like
weird-ass
annoying
feet.
for Jimmy Olsen. Yeah, and so it's just like, and I can't think of any. What are the other women characters? Mama Kent, who like even her, they give most of the content to Papa Kent. Like
yeah,
he gives,
she does the phone call more, and then he gets that speech when Clark's there. But
yeah, but like, so like the
I know what
women
you
in this
mean.
movie, not great. Lois is the best one, and even her, I have like my criticisms of like the tropes that they're going with. Which I feel like I kind of feel this way about most of the characters in the movie. I'm like, I don't think any of the characters in the movie are bad. I think a lot of them are underdeveloped, underbaked, or like not even underutilized, but improperly utilized.
And honestly, I think the problem is the fact that halfway through, this rift just fucks everything up. And
Yeah.
now all the attention is focused on that instead
Dude,
of
'cause even-
actual character development. And Superman disappears for a large section of the movie.
Yeah. Yeah. There's a few times where Superman is kind of just like out of the action.
Yeah.
And it kind of slows the movie down,
Which I don't think is necessarily bad. But I think
No,
the way
it's-
that it's done in this movie is quite poor.
not great. And also, like, all of the Daily Planet people go into that pod, or like Mr. Terrific's ship, and do what
They put that story out.
in the ship? Like, was that just to get away from the rift?
It's more of a getaway thing.
But all of the other people are running out of the building, and the boss man literally goes, "How many seats in that?" And Lois goes, 5. Actually, maybe 6. And then he tells Beck Bennett, like, "Okay, you can get in too."
Where's my seat? What a line reading by our boy, huh?
Dude, so here's the thing. He's probably my favorite character in the movie. Just because he's one of the few characters that is perfectly utilized. I think honestly Jimmy Olsen is also pretty well utilized, if I
Yeah.
can be honest.
And it's little Jimmy Olsen note. It's great. I wonder what it feels like to be cast as the guy who it's funny that girls like him. Where it's like making fun of the fact that
I
a
think
girl would
honestly
like
Skylar Gisondo, is that
him.
it?
Something like that.
I think he's kind of like a perfect cast for that role, because like he's like an attractive guy, but he's not a conventionally attractive guy.
He's like a
So he kind of fits that mold kind of perfectly.
Yeah.
But anyway, I just briefly want to touch on Beck Bennett's character. Every single one of his line readings was perfect.
Yeah.
When he's like yapping to Clark about his article,
The
and then he gets on the
adverbs.
phone and he goes, "Hey Ma," and then he like looks up from what he's doing and goes, "Ma!" Like he's just always saying the most stupid shit. He's like the rift is ripping a hole in Metropolis, and he's like calling his mom to put his cat on the phone. Just like
I think he's good.
I feel like they told him, they were like, be dumb and goofy as you can, and he was like, okay.
You don't know what's gonna hit you.
Yeah. Anyway.
Okay, you want to move to good stuff? Were we
Let's
on
move
a topic?
to good stuff.
Actually,
Well, let's just, since we're talking about characters and kind of the flaws in the characters and the writing, let's and since we're kind of talking about positives in Jimmy Olsen's character and Beck Bennett's character, let's just stay on characters that I think are very good. David Cornsweet is great as Superman.
Yeah.
And like, even though, like you said, I don't think he's the greatest actor in the world, I do think that he has what is needed for this role. He doesn't really need to be, it kind of makes sense, honestly, that Superman is like a little wooden. I don't think that David Cornsweet, I don't think his acting is wooden necessarily, but like Superman is kind of like this picture of like white toast goodness, if that makes sense, where it's like, that doesn't really make sense.
He's like Midwest values, Midwest charm.
Yeah.
Kind of
like there's a reason a lot of people are like,
toast.
Superman's a boring character, and it's because he like his persona is very much like, I will do good. I am a do-gooder. And it's like, that's kind of, that is what you want from a Superman, but like that is also kind of what David Cornsweet brings perfectly.
I think he's just incredibly earnest, and that really helps. So you can, even though like he's not perfect in any scene, you feel like he really wants to help people. Whereas like with the Cavill stuff, you didn't really feel any of that, because he just felt like he was apathetic to humanity.
Well,
at least
he also kind of felt
opinion.
like you said, it was very much like he's a god. So it kind of felt like he was just like above everything. Whereas David Cornsweet's Superman very much feels like he is where everyone else is at. Yeah. And even when people are like talking him up to be bigger than he thinks he is, whether in a good way or a bad way, he's like the one to be like, no, I'm
just a guy.
Yeah, I may have laser vision and frost breath and super strong and I could fly, but like I'm just a guy. And I think David Cornsweet does that really well. There was that like kind of viral clip of the behind the scenes with him and James Gunn in that scene where he's like giving Lex his final speech about like what makes him human and stuff like that. And like, I don't think that's like a crazily acted scene where I'm like, oh my gosh, like what a fucking crazy like Oscar moment or anything.
Yeah.
But like, I do think that seeing him behind the scenes care so much about getting the message of this character across properly makes that scene work even more, because he cares. Like it feels almost like David Cornsweet has embodied Superman in creating Superman, which I guess is what acting is, but like, you know what I mean. I think
I know what you mean.
Let's just say you do.
It feels like he's really found what his version of Superman is. And it's a very earnest, very like openly emotional, and very like human portrayal. Whereas some other ones, it's a lot, honestly, a lot closer to like the Christopher Reeve version, where like you kind of feel like he's just a guy who happens to have these powers instead of someone with these powers who isn't really a guy at all.
Well, and I feel like that's kind of highlighted by him being like, I'm just here to help people because that's what my parents told me to do. And then he finds out his parents were actually like, fuck people and kill them.
Yeah.
And he's like, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to keep doing what I was doing before. Like that kind of
fair enough
communicates like who this guy is. It's like, yes, he's kind of developed these core values based on what his parents said. But once he finds out that what his parents said go against those core values that he's developed, then he's like, I'm still keeping to my core values.
Yeah.
Which really humanizes him.
And another thing, kind of underrated, I really like the suit. I think the suit is great.
It is great. They could have really fucked it up bad. To be honest, when I first saw the Superman logo for this Superman, I was like, not my favorite Superman logo. Mm-hmm. But also, I think that is a case of being used to a certain Superman logo. And then seeing this one. And the truth is, now having seen the movie, I'm like, I like the Superman logo. And the suit is great. Yeah. I love the trunks over the pants decision. It really works.
Yeah. No, I think this is it's one of the things that adds to this like colorful world, which I think is one of the great parts of it. Another Superman related thing, I think the flying is very fun looking in a way that a lot of speed related powers don't tend to look fun. This one looks
rarely looks goofy. Yeah. Which I think honestly was a thing for a bit where like you watch Iron Man fly, it kind of never looks goofy because you see what is making him fly. With Superman, he's just moving. Yeah. So it's really easy for that to look goofy, and I think maybe one, I'm sure if I went through scrubbing looking for it, maybe 2 times it ever looked a little goofy, which he does a lot of flying in this movie. That's really good. That's a great ratio.
And I
think a lot of it has to do with the cape.
Yeah, I think the way because I don't know if you saw how they did it, but they basically hooked him up so he was laying flat, then had a guy who could turn him, and then they blew air at his face and had him on a green screen. But one of the things that when I first watched, when I saw him go like through all the weather when he's racing back to the Fortress of Solitude, I think, I was like, oh, that's fucking sick. Because they don't really show that very often. Anyway, music, flying, I think are both great. I don't know. There is some other shit, like, not to get negative again, but there's some stuff with the engineer where I don't know how.
I honestly just think the engineer's kind of a shitty character, if I can be real. Which we didn't even mention engineer for like women characters, because she's kind of shit.
It doesn't really do anything.
No. And there's obviously that scene where she like
does the flip.
Yeah, she like turns around, but instead of just turning around, she like makes her head come out of her ass, and then does a flip so that her head is on the right side, and then does
she flips and then does the head switch.
Yeah, sorry. But then does some like, it looks so unnatural and janky, and like it doesn't look great, her like getting saws on her hands.
See, my thing with that is I think it's kind of cool, but I think it would be cooler if the character was cooler. Like, I think it's
cooler if the character was cooler and if they just did it better.
Yeah. I think it's meant to show her power set and be like, she is completely malleable. Mm-hmm. But they don't really use that in a way other than she's got saws that she throws. Like, that's her big
to be honest,
I think she goops people a little bit, but
yeah. I feel like I would have gotten the gist without her having to have her head come out of her ass.
I think there's a better way to do it for sure. I also think it's kind of a cool idea for someone to be able to do a flip and then immediately like have.
Well, that's the thing. It's not immediate. Different. It takes like a solid 5 seconds. I think that's one of the big issues. Is like if she literally did a flip and mid flip, she like her head.
Well, because then she's like a transformer. Then she's like a Decepticon jumping. Or Autobot, I guess.
That's the thing.
Or no, she'd be a Decepticon for sure.
Even if they went slow motion for like a brief second, like almost like a bullet time to do kind of thing, just to be like, check out this thing she's doing. Because then you can
I think that's
slow.
Cooler.
But it just felt like real time. It just didn't work. We don't have to do too much on that.
I think another high point is Mr. Terrific is a pretty high war in this movie.
He's literally the goat of the movie. He seems to be the only person in the whole movie who gives a shit that there's a dimensional rift happening. And he's like, we need to, like, he's every scene once that, like, once Lex is like, we're opening this big fucking portal, and everyone's like, no, don't do it. And he's like, I don't care. You cut to Mr. Terrific, and he's like doing his hacking thing, and the woman comes in and is like, this looks bad. And he's like, you think? He is dripping in sweat. And I think he's like that in almost every shot he's in up till the end, because I think he seems to be the only one who's like, guys, this is the top priority in the world right now. Like, yeah. And he's just kind of goated in the movie.
Yeah, I think he's just quite good, and it's a fun character that you don't really have much connection to before the movie,
no,
which makes it easier to kind of be like, oh, this guy's fucking sick. Like he has all this tech, and I don't know, he's funny enough.
Which I will say, going back to the like difficulties with them being in a world that is kind of already established with metahumans, I know it's like, since the metahumans are already established in the world, they kind of need to be existing in the same space. But I feel like the amount that are in this kind of almost detract from it being a Superman movie. Because there's Superman, there's Mr. Terrific, Guy Gardner, there's Hawk Girl, there's Metamorpho, there's the fucking kaiju
Ultraman
thing, there's Engineer, Ultraman, there's Lex Luthor if you want to count him. I know he's not metahuman, but like that is a lot of characters. And I know that they're kind of trying to establish like, oh, there's also corporations that are funding superheroes to create blah blah blah.
Maxwell
but
Lord,
it's like,
Luthor.
Yeah, but I'm almost like, I almost wish that like it was just Mr. Terrific, not Hot Girl or Guy Gardner, and then like maybe he meets, because I like how they use Metamorpho. But, like, maybe he then meets Metamorpho in there, and then he helps, and, like, those are the guys that are there. Like, that would have felt a little more... I don't know.
I don't really have a problem
That's a little
with it.
nitpicky. That's a little nitpicky. I think that just goes back to me feeling like the movie is very... what's the word? Not cluttered.
Just overstuffed. Busy.
Yeah, it's a little overstuffed.
I don't think I agree with that. Because one of the scenes that I like is after he's looking for crypto, he kind of comes back, goes into his apartment, and then you see that dimensional imp in the background, and then the Justice Gang is fighting it. Like, I like that idea that it's not always Superman who's got to be called to these issues.
Well, and him being like, yeah, they got it.
Yeah.
I think he has a line where he's like, I talked to them, I'm looking for the dog, they're dealing with it, it's fine. Like, I like that they can just be like, Superman's taking the day off, this is kind of the shit we do.
Yeah. I like that scene, and I like how that kind of builds out the world to make it feel like it's lived in, and also Lois isn't, like, shitting her pants because there's this big thing. I think that's another important part where it's like, people are kind of used to this, because it's been happening for so long. Crypto in general, I think I'm 50-50 on. If we'll get into the dog talk.
Yeah.
I think he is a little too millennial coded for me.
Yeah.
Q?
Which, to be honest, is just a lot of my criticisms of the movie are a little millennial coded.
Yeah.
Like, I talked to Olivia about the dialogue, and she's like, that's just millennial movie, brother.
Yeah.
I'm like, that's fair. But like the dog, certainly, I think like the
looks pretty great. Because
here's the thing: for a CGI dog, looks really great. That being said, I can almost always tell it's a CGI dog, which like,
but also kind of makes sense because I think the thing giving it away is the physics, but the dog is a super dog, if that makes sense. Because like if you had a real dog, you'd have to basically wire it up so it had like a floaty kind of thing,
which is
it,
fine.
right?
I'm not saying bad decision that it's CGI dog.
It's no Call of the Wild.
it just it just kind of takes me out of it a little bit. One, nobody really interacts with him aside from him like fucking running into them. Like nobody, at least from what I can remember, maybe there's one shot. Nobody really like just pets him. It's
He
mostly
lays on
him
Superman's
fucking blasting
chest.
into. Yeah, but that's barely.
Do you mean other people?
You can put a PNG on Superman's chest.
You're saying you want the CG artist to kind of work for their money.
No, I'm just saying like it doesn't help me get off the that's a CGI dog when they're only it's like when I see projects that are shot on the volume, you know, the volume. Where I'm like,
It's what you do in
it's
the toilet.
not like at any single shot I'm like, wow, this is so obviously shot on the volume. But when it's like I can
Every
see
shot.
a background and then there's a couple like little pieces of set here and they're walking from here to here and then it's the next scene, I'm like, it's that like 4 scenes in a row, I'm like, okay, so you're not really doing anything to convince me this isn't on the volume. And it kind of did the same here where I'm like, it's CGI dog and there's nothing that like there was one scene like when Lois gets into Mr. Terrific's ship and Krypto sits on her lap and she's like, oh, get off.
Yeah.
Like her hands are like up in the air and she does not interact with him. It's like so clearly she was just sitting there, nothing on her lap, and they were like, pretend a dog's on your lap. And she's like,
and then she
"Get
kind
off,
of like
dog."
reaches around
like-
slash through it.
Yeah, and it's just like it's moments like that where I'm like, the dog's not there. Like I think of like a Rocket Raccoon, just to use another James Gunn film with a CGI animal, is like Rocket Raccoon. There were multiple points where I was like, I feel like Rocket Raccoon is there with Drax, is there. Like same with Groot, where I'm like, they are there with these characters.
Well, Vin was on set.
Yeah.
And he did them all in the different languages, every single take.
He did. I love how they touted that up like it's some fucking crazy feat, and it's like, you had to say, I am Groot.
Yeah.
And then I think we are.
In
also.
like 4 different inflections.
Yeah. But anyway, so that kind of just took me out with the CGI dog, where there was never really a moment where I was like, wow, he is there with them. Anyway, that's just...
I don't know.
Since we're on the dog topic...
Here's what we'll do. We're getting a little long.
Sure.
I'll give my last thing, and then we can go into our ending section, okay?
Sure.
The way that they solve the case against Lex, I love the idea, but I think it happens too quickly, and again is contributed to by the fact that there's 100,000 other things going on in the movie. But I really wish that was a bigger part of it, because it kind of feels like Lois just solves it after they see some pictures, and then that's it.
Like I thought that she was gonna like use the screenshots to like get information or like get an interview with someone.
I needed
and they kind of cornered
another
them
layer
based on
deeper there, you know?
Yeah, where instead it was like Jimmy got sent the screenshots. She looks at one where she sees the map that blatantly tells you what's happening, and then all of a sudden her and Jimmy are giving a presentation to the boss, and they're like, so fun fact, literally every piece of information we could possibly need is in the background of these photos, and we figured it out, and it's ready to be published, and we got them. And it's like, oh, okay.
So my final questions. I guess final statement. I think the movie is quite good for a Superman movie. I'm excited about the future of this franchise and this universe of comic book films. Which, as I said earlier, we will be covering as they release. Which right now is Supergirl and Clayface next year. Yeah, that's right, Clayface.
Yay.
I guess the Batman doesn't count. I don't really know what's going on with that whole thing.
We'll see.
So, what would you come to believe happens in Supergirl?
I think Superman's probably in it as like a small part or a cameo, but I think for the most part it's just a whole new story, whole new characters. We're dealing with her being drunk, going to different planets, and then something happens that kind of pulls her to reality where she's like, wait a minute, maybe I do have a maybe these powers come with a little bit of responsibility, perhaps.
When you have the ability to do something, it is your...
Oh, can I be honest, though?
What?
There's probably going to be so much more crypto stuff.
Oh, there's going to be a lot of crypto. That's her dog.
Yeah.
And it's so millennial coded.
It's fine, but like, then why was he in this one so much?
Millennials. And they had to get him trapped. I think we could have gone without crypto in this movie, but they need something to sell toys.
For the trailer.
They need something to sell toys. And then I guess thoughts on the future of the DCU. Some other projects upcoming, just so you have some more context here. Superman, Man of Tomorrow, 2027.
Can I just give like brief rapid fire thoughts on each one you say?
Sure. We kind of talk Clayface.
I'm interested.
Superman, Man of Tomorrow.
I mean, I'm interested because I liked this movie for the most part.
Wonder Woman.
I am excited to see a version of it that isn't Gal Gadot.
Batman the Brave and the Bold. Directed by Andy Muschietti, I believe, who did The Flash.
I mean, I'm always interested in a new take on something. That said, I feel like we've gotten a lot of takes on Batman.
Recently, a lot of Batman stuff.
They haven't cast him yet, right?
No.
So I think it'll depend a lot on that for me.
Yeah.
But we'll see.
There's talk that they might just get Pattinson in it.
There's
like
talk. James Gunn has kind of like...
He's kind of poo-pooed that, but I think it might be...
Well, I was going to say he's kind of pussyfooted around where he's like alluded to the possibility that could happen, but kind of been like, it probably won't happen.
Yeah.
I'm just like, ugh.
The Authority.
Like, I think he kind of wants to do his own thing, but also really likes the Pattinson Batman and would rather it be not that confusing and just keep it the same. So I think they're just, I don't know.
The Authority.
They shouldn't keep Pattinson if they're doing a different Batman, though.
No,
I
agree.
Yeah.
The Authority, kind of a ragtag group thing.
Don't know, don't care.
Swamp Thing.
Point.
Yeah. Teen Titans.
I love the Teen Titans. The only frame of reference I have for that in live action is the
CW
Titans CW show, and that was hot trash.
Yeah.
At least from what I saw.
No, you're right.
Here's the issue. I think a lot of the enjoyment I get from Teen Titans, and even though people shit on it, Teen Titans Go, is kind of the like...
The fact that it's animated?
I think it works really well as animated. But I think it also works really well as like a kid/teen show. Like, I feel like if they try to make Teen Titans, but it's like... I mean, I guess...
This isn't like a dark take on Superman.
No, you're right. I guess that was kind of the issue with the Titans show.
Yeah, that was like,
it was trying to
fucking
be
hot topic.
Yeah. Whereas I guess a Superman 2025 take on Teen Titans could be all right.
And then we've got Sergeant Rock, which I don't even know what the hell that is. And then there's a bunch of shows. I think Lanterns is coming out soon.
Sure.
Yeah. I'm 50-50. I'll see how Supergirl is. I'll probably see Clayface and then Superman. And then it's kind of, I'm going to pick and choose. Because the DC thing I'm very excited for is the Batman 2.
Same.
Other than that, like, you gotta prove it to me. You're on a prove it deal right now.
Well, that's the thing. For me, like, this movie was a very good launch point for a new DCU.
Yeah.
But it wasn't good enough that I'm like, I'm so excited for what's to come because this was so incredible, you know?
Yeah, I know what you mean. Do you have anything for me?
I don't think so. I think
Do
this
you
is
know
a good
what
pick.
we're going to be doing next week?
We do know what we're going to be doing next week. And it's
What
going to
is
be
it?
what you guessed, and it's going to be K-pop Demon Hunters.
Okay.
I think what ultimately made me decide on it was because you chose Superman 2025. So I kind of felt like K-pop Demon Hunters, yet another big movie of 2025.
One of the
worth
biggest.
covering.
If it had a box office, I'd be.
One of the biggest.
I wonder what
So
it
we'll do
was.
that one. Spoiler alert, I really enjoyed it. You haven't watched it yet, right? I'm so curious what you'll think.
Seems like
I'm
a movie
willing
where
to-
K-pop hunt demons.
K-pop do hunt demons in the movie at least a little bit. All I'd say is give it a chance. I know you will.
Oh, well, I will.
But
And then after
anyway.
that, we're pussy deep in Avatar.
Which, to be honest, yummy, get that pussy in my tummy.
Oh no!
It's because you said we're pussy deep. I was just going with what you said. What
I
I
mean-
said was your fault. You're actually culpable and responsible for what I said. I'd like to apologize to all of my fans and all of those who aren't my fans, which is actually the larger group of the two. Thank you, everybody, for listening. We'll see you guys next episode for K-pop Demon Hunters.
Yummy,
This was Superman. Let us know your thoughts either in the comments on YouTube or Spotify or wherever you are. And please drop a follow or a subscription wherever you're at if you like the episodes. We appreciate you listening, and we hope you're enjoying.
Yummy.
Yummy in my tummy.
What's in your tummy?
Come.